Hey guys, welcome to this episode on hosting a website on AWS. Actually, we'll try to host a static website on AWS, and we're going to be using several services. So those are three, and CloudFront, Route53, and Certificate Manager. We'll use S3 to upload all our website code, and CloudFront to deliver it over the content delivery network that is provided by AWS, and Route53 as our DNS service, and Certificate Manager to acquire certificate and apply it onto the CloudFront so that HTTPS will be enabled or SSL will be enabled. So let's go into our diagram. So this is basically a simple architecture for our application. So basically our website will be hosted on an S3 bucket, which is configured as an origin to CloudFront. And certificate manager, actually we will get a certificate from the certificate manager and apply it onto the CloudFront so that our website will support SSL. And then we have the Route53, the DNS service from AWS, which is configured to direct to CloudFront whenever a request is coming into using the domain www. Whatever the domain name that we will give it to our application, right? So basically user visit our application by typing on the domain name, and it will direct to the CloudFront, and then from the CloudFront there's origin for the S3 bucket which will serve the website. Why we have the CloudFront here is basically to cache the requests of our website, and whenever the next time the users are kind of requesting for our application, for our basically website, it will be served from the CloudFront. It will not just traverse through the S3 bucket. So it will save time and it will be quick. Okay, so let's get into our AWS console. Right, so first of all, I think we need to have a domain. Okay. So to get a domain, just type in free domain. If you don't already have a domain, if you have bought a domain from maybe GoDaddy or Amazon itself, you can use it. Otherwise, if you don't have a domain, just type in free domain into Google, and you will find a lot of websites that provides free domain. For example, this one. I will go to this particular website called www.dot.tk, and let's find for a free domain. I will type like my awesome site. Let's check the availability of this particular domain. Yeah, it's available. Get it now and click checkout. Okay, yeah, just click continue. Right now, if you don't already have an account in this particular website, you can just type in your email address and verification on that. But I already have signed up for an account, so I will just click here. So let me just log in. Yeah. Okay, it's taking a little bit of time. All right, it's logged in. So it has logged into my account, and you see my domain name that I just purchased is myawesomesite.tk for $0. That's good. So I will click here, accepting the conditions, and click complete order. Alright, now you will receive an email to your email address. Anyway, you can go to your client area by clicking here. Yeah. Then you can go to services and select my domains. You can see my domain is right here. Cool. Now the first thing is we have to configure our Route 53, which is our DNS service provided by AWS. Right? So let's go to the AWS console and select Route 53. You can just go to here and type in Route 53 here and just select it. So I don't have any hosted zone created. So basically for DNS management, I need to create a hosted zone. So let's get started now. Click on it, and then you will kind of see this screen. So just click on this button, create hosted zone. So it says you have no hosted zone. Okay, just click that button again. Now it will prompt you to type in your domain name, right? So go back to your client area, just copy this. Okay, it's not letting me to copy. Just click manage domain. Now you will see it. So just copy this, just paste it in. Okay, so I will have it as a public hosted zone and just create it. Now it will create my hosted zone. Well, when you create a hosted zone, you will be charged a little bit, but this is for our demo purposes. I will also be removing this site once this is done. Okay. Now the next very important thing to do is click on this record, which is the Nameserver record. The next thing you have to just copy and paste these Nameserver values onto your domain configuration. Why we do that is basically we have to say that whenever a user visit this site like myawesome.tk site, DNS resolution has to be done through AWS. How we configure it is by configuring the AWS name servers onto your domain, right? So you can click manage tools and select name servers. So if you're using GoDaddy or any other hosting providers, just there is this configuration available. You can find it easily in your client panel. So here I will click name servers. You can see there are some default name servers provided by these guys, right? But I don't want to use that, so I will click use custom name servers, and I will remove each one of these, and I will paste in the name servers that I got from AWS. Just remember to delete that full stop at the end. Let me just delete all of these. Yeah. So I copy the first one and I will copy the second one, paste it in, remove the dot. Okay. Let me copy the third one, take out the full stop, and finally the fourth name server. Okay, then select change name servers. This will update your name servers to your AWS Route 53 hosted zone name servers. Alright, just verify it by clicking name servers again, make sure they are there. Alright, so now that is done, we have actually configured the first part of our architecture. So right, now I will move on to S3 bucket. So this is where we will host our website, right? There are a few other configuration to be done in the Route 53, but we'll come to that little later, right? So I'll click on services and just search for S3, and I will open it in a new tab. Yeah. Okay. Now you need to create an new bucket or S3 bucket for your website. So the important thing to remember here is the bucket name that you're going to provide for your S3 bucket should be the same name as your domain name, right? For example, my domain name is this one, so I will just copy it and I will just paste it in, right? You can actually create subdomains, like for example I can say www.myawesomesite.tk and configure it with our main domain, or we call it apex domain, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. But anyway, in this example we'll configure our main domain with our S3 bucket. Okay, so you can select a region where you want to host this site, and I will click next. We don't want to configure anything for now, just click and create the bucket. Okay, I think it's created. Let's try to search for it. Yes, it's created. Click on the bucket name. Okay, then what you have to do is you have to configure this as a static website hosting. So you go to properties and you click static website hosting, right? So you can configure this bucket as a static website by choosing this option. Okay, use this bucket to host a website. Once you select that, you will be prompted to enter where your index file is, right? So I will just say index.html. So this is where my index file is, and it will ask where my error file. Okay, whenever an error occurs, which HTML file it should kind of render. So I will say okay, error.html, and I will save it. Okay, so now if we go to the overview section, you see we don't have any files created in our website. So first of all, we have to create those two files like index.html and error.html, right? So let me go to my desktop and I will create a new folder and I will name it as my app. I'll open it. Let me use Visual Studio Code, and I will open that folder, my app. Just open it. Now you can create new file. First I will call my file index.html. Then I will just put some HTML here. So this is basically our website, my awesome site. Okay, I will just add some text like welcome to my site. Okay, and I'm gonna create another file called error.html, which will show whenever something is not right. Error says something is not right. So that's enough. So I have my index file. So whenever a visitor visit my website, he will see this, and if there's an error, he will see this file. Okay, let me close this out. So let's try to upload this. Okay, and I will go into my bucket and click upload. Click add file, go to my app and select both the file and open it and click next. Just don't think about this configuration, we'll configure a little later. Next, next, and upload. You will see the progress down here. It won't take much time, it will upload quite fast. If you refresh this, you see both the files are uploaded. Now let's try to access our website, right? So shall we go to properties and click static web hosting? You'll see there's an endpoint where you can actually visit your website. Just click here. Oh, we'll get an access denied, 403 forbidden error. So why is this? So basically in AWS, if you do not configure the permission, you can't do anything, right? So for our website, we have not configured any permission, so it cannot be accessed by anyone. So it's time to configure our permission for any user to read the content from my website, right? So I will go to permission tab. I will click bucket policy. We are going to configure the permission onto the bucket, so that's why we select bucket policy. Alright, so we have to type in the policy, but you'll see there's a link to the documentation. Just click here, then you will be directed to the documentation of S3, and there's a link to bucket policy example. So let's try to use an example provided by AWS, right? Scroll a little bit down and you'll see a topic called granting read-only permission to an anonymous user, right? So let's just copy this bucket policy, copy it, and go to S3 console and paste it. Cool. So this is basically giving permission to any anonymous user to read, or basically read only access. Make sure to take this out, the example one, and enter your web bucket name. I will copy it from here because I'm a little lazy to type. Okay, just replace that with your whatever the bucket name you have given or the domain name you have created. Okay, and just click save. You will get a warning that this bucket has public access. Alright, doesn't matter. So let's go back to properties and see if we actually can see our website. Just click static web hosting and click on the endpoint. Whoa, yes, it works. So actually it has rendered the index.html. Now let's type some invalid URL like something. When there's an error, right, because it cannot kind of resolve this URL, so there's an error. So the error document is displayed. And if we type index.html, index will show, even though we do not specify that index.html explicitly. It knows to render the index.html. So far so good. So we have configured our S3 bucket. So even now, if a user knows the endpoint, like this particular endpoint, he'll be able to reach my website. But I want him to use the domain name that I have created, right? So in that case, we have to do a few more modifications or configurations. So it's time to serve our S3 bucket or our website through CloudFront, right? So it will cache my response and it will quickly deliver the responses to the user. So let's go to AWS console and go to CloudFront. Just type in CloudFront and open it on a new tab. So I don't have any CloudFront distribution. So first you have to create a CloudFront distribution. So let's click create, and obviously I have to create it for the website. So click get started here, and you have to type in an origin. So let me go back to my presentation. So origin, I have to configure it with our S3 bucket, right? So make sure that you will give the domain name or the S3 bucket URL of your website. It's basically this part. Just don't put the HTTP colon // but the rest of it just copy it and go to your CloudFront under the domain name, right? Just paste it in. So make sure you paste in this website URL. Yeah, I will earlier I have kind of given this URL, so this is not actually the website URL, so this won't work, right? So it's make sure that you will give the S3 website URL which you will find in your endpoint, right? Just remember that. Okay, origin path, just don't think about anything else, just click create distribution. So it will start creating your distribution. You see the state is in progress. This will take a while actually. So but before that, I think we have a few more configuration to be done. Doesn't matter it's in progress, just click this link. So it will take you to your CloudFront distribution. Now we have to do a little more configurations. That is basically you have to add an alternative domain name, right? Because at the moment you see it's dash and we haven't added anything. So in order to resolve the domain name by CloudFront, we have to add that domain name, like the domain name we have created, this one, onto the CloudFront, right? So how we do that, just click edit, right? And as the alternative domain name field, just paste in our website name. In my case it's myawesomesite.tk. Yeah, just paste it in. Okay, next thing is we have to set up SSL certificate for this domain. So far we have not kind of requested any SSL certificate for this particular domain. So in this, let's try to kind of request for a custom SSL certificate. Just select custom SSL certificate radio button, and you just click on this button, request or import a certificate with ACM. ACM stands for Amazon Certificate Manager. So let me go back to my presentation. So we actually configure in this part. So we'll acquire a certificate and apply it onto CloudFront, right? So you will, when you click request and certificate, you will be directed to ACM, right? Here you can just type in your domain name. It's myawesomesite.tk and just click next. Select DNS validation and click review. Okay, now click confirm and request. Okay, you can see the validation state is pending validation. Just expand it, and you see to do that validation, you have to add this particular DNS record to Route53, right? You can either just go to Route53 and create these manually, or you can simply just click create record in Route53 button here. Okay, it will ask, okay, we are going to add this particular domain validation. Just click create. Okay. Now it has added this particular validation onto our CloudFront. You see at the moment we have only 2. If I refresh, you will see another validation record as well, right? So now our certificate manager will wait until it will get a response from our DNS or from our hosted song, right? So it will take a little bit time. So let me click continue. You see it's still pending validation. Oh, right. It just resolved very quickly. Sometimes it takes a time, so be patient. So in this case, it was issued instantly. So that's great. So it's issued. So now the certificate is issued. So let's go back to our CloudFront here. And let's just click refresh button here, and if you just click the drop down, you'll see the certificate here. Earlier you wouldn't see it. Now you will see it. Just click it. Okay, now you can say just edit and update your CloudFront with the newest configuration. Right, now you will see the alternate domain name. They have added the domain name here, and also the SSL certificate is also configured. So let's try to go to our website and see if it is working. Alright, I think the domain DNS propagation is not yet done. All the configurations are not yet done. You have to wait until the CloudFront distribution status is completed. You can see it's still in progress. It's still in progress. Now I forgot to do one small configuration load. So let's go back to the CloudFront distribution and let's go to origin. Just click here and select your domain and just click edit. Oh, sorry, not this one. Just cancel it out. Go to behaviors and click here. So this is basically the behavior that we set up our origin. So it says whatever the routes, whatever the path pattern is, just direct it to the S3 origin. So I want to do a small editing here. So just click edit. You'll see the viewer protocol policy is at the moment set up to HTTP and HTTPS, but I want to serve this website over HTTPS. So just select, even though someone type in HTTP, just redirect to HTTPS. Okay, and click yes, edit. Okay, now you're gonna have to wait until this is finished. It will take some time. So I'm gonna pause the video right now and come back to you once it is completed. Hey guys, welcome back. Well, it's deployed. So my CloudFront distribution is deployed. So let's try to just access my website. Oops, it's still not accessible. Well, actually we missed one step. Let me go back to my presentation. It's actually we couldn't configure this part, Route 53 to CloudFront configuration part. So let's do that quickly. So let me go to the CloudFront, Route 53, and let's create a record. So it will ask, type in any subdomain. Yeah, I can say basically if I want to kind of configure it with www.subdomain, yeah, I can do it. But I want to have my main domain or apex domain here. So I don't enter anything here. And then I will select record type A record. Make sure to select alias. So alias is a special type that is provided by AWS. And here you can select the alias target of our CloudFront. So it's still not visible here, but you can of course go to CloudFront distribution and go into your CloudFront and simply copy your domain name, this one. Just copy it, go back to your Route 53, and as your last target, just paste it in. Yeah, okay, then click create. Now it will map my awesome site.tk site to this particular alias record. Now this alias record is linked to our CloudFront, right? So this part is configured. Now let's see if I can access my website. Let's give it a second and come back to this. Hey guys, now it works. Let me refresh it. Yeah. Well, it took about 2 minutes to do the DNS propagation. My bad. Sorry about that last step. But however, now it works. Great. Now let's try to go to wrong URL, like invalid something like this one. Yes, my error page is also working. Let me go to index.html explicitly. Yes, it works, and even without index.html, that works. Great. Okay, I think this is it. This is what I want to show you guys, how to configure this whole process. So now everything is configured. So when a user visit our website by using, in my case, myawesomesite.tk, it will reach the DNS, like Route 53 DNS service, and it will resolve the DNS, this particular path, onto the CloudFront, and from CloudFront it will just go to the default behavior which is configured onto the S3 website, and that will serve the content back to the user. And after the very first request, the content will be cached in CloudFront. So the next request will be served from the CloudFront. Right? So that's quite quick. And okay, so that's it. Thank you very much, and see you again in another episode. Thanks.